Environmental science will be the topic of this video. Um, I just wanted to start with an introduction to environmental science before I really go deep into the explanations. We're all kind of familiar with the environment in some sort of way and some sort of manner that we're more comfortable to. And we all have a sense of what the environment is as well. Like, you know the ecology of the environment and you're familiar with it most likely, so I should not have to go into detail about that right now. But um, environmental science is typically a new field. It was pretty much almost just created. Um, it goes into a lot of other fields. It goes into political science, which they ask questions of which policies lead to the sustainable solutions. What policies do we enact for the environment? And that goes into political science. We have sociology. How do people adopt new ideas? How do people change? We also have chemistry, how to make more effective batteries, new batteries, urban planning even, what urban design can reduce energy use, the ecology, how does it affect populations, and economics, how does it affect cost, etc. We are lucky to have a sustainable, inhabitable planet which we live on called Earth, and we have such diversity upon Earth that it allows for so many things to occur that would seem so unnatural for other planets. Now, this allows for our living environment itself. We face issues. We have a lack of clean water in Africa. So I'm going to write that. Issues. Issues. Water. I apologize for my handwriting. I am not writing in a place I'm comfortable with, so just bear with me. So clean water is an issue because a lot of you might say, well, I have clean water, but that's not the case on a global scale. The global scale is basically have over 75% is actually polluted water. In other words, we have places such as Africa, one of the grandest continents that we have, which has entirely usually polluted water that people drink from. And this creates sanitation and health issues. They suffer from diarrhea most likely, and they're gonna die usually, is what happens to the kids in Africa. Um, we also have due to that we have food supply issues where we don't have enough food to feed the growing populations of the world. Food. Starving kids in Africa. We have starving people around the world because they can't get food. And this issue is even on a global scale, even though you might say, well, I have a ton of food, you know. Um, the other areas might not have as much food as you do, and the food supplies are cutting short due to the increased population. This population boom that's gradually happening, and demographics are increasing. It's a global problem. So then, we also have um, we have undernourishment due to the food sources. So I will not write that. Um, the need for cleaner energy resources. So energy is a problem. Probably all familiar with the how we get our energy from burning coal and other fossil fuels. Unfortunately, that's a non-renewable source that will eventually run out, and well, what are we going to do then? That's why now we need renewable energy resources to invest in, like solar, geothermal. You could use hydroelectric power. All of these renewable sources that are from our planet itself. So it would be renewable. As of now, might not be cost efficient, but it's very renewable. So eventually it will be once the fossil fuels all run out. Then from there, um, we also have climate changes, though people might not think so, but I will not write that because it's almost a common thing. The climate changes, you might say global warming, quote unquote. Temperatures are increasing widely across the globe, and there are melting of glaciers. And these glaciers would provide water supply, but now the melting of glaciers increases the amount of volume on the planet of the Earth, which is a big problem. In fact, it's a greater threat than terrorism even. Air pollution, we have chlorofluorocarbons, and that used to be around. You have acid rain that impact local populations, and the changing of a local population can cause another species to die out, etc. We have smog from industrial factories. These factories release this kind of smog from their chimneys, the whatever you want to call it. They exhume the smog, and this smog goes into the air and basically can disrupt an entire cycle. And within that, it can disrupt populations and the world as we know it. So, from there we have also a loss in biodiversity. You're probably all familiar with biodiversity at some point if you've taken biology. Species are disappearing. It's important because biodiversity allows for a particular function of one species. Let's say one species produces a material that you need. This species dies out. Next, you go to another species. Maybe the next species will also have that. So you can see from there that if it does have that, then there's a lot of diversity. There's a lot around that you can have various uses for. There's also a increase in life-threatening diseases around the world due to lack of sanitation. Um, the UN is in charge of international cooperation and to combat all these environmental issues. So UN. That's basically the global concern of environment right now. Um, and it's basic that we have had even a history of people who are more into the environment and such, like Teddy Roosevelt. We have a history of that, but it didn't last long. So the next succession of people in power politics will have to deal with these environmental issues. That is all for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, subscribe.